Hello and welcome to another episode of Mini Bites. Today we're looking at the question, did Jesus claim to be God? Well, all through Jesus' life he made very many claims to show that he was telling people that he was God. A lot of his parables showed that, but also sometimes some very direct things that he said showed that he was claiming to be God. Let's have a look through some of the scriptures that show this. So in John 8 verse 58, he said, "Very truly I tell you," Jesus answered, "before Abraham was born, I am." Now I am was the word that God used in the Old Testament, if you remember, with Moses, where he said, "I am." And this was making a statement that he was God. In John 9 verses 35 to 37, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" "Who is he, sir?" the man asked. "Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." Then the man said, "Lord, I believe," and he worshipped him. Clearly, the fact that Jesus accepted worship was proof that he believed that he was God. In John 9 verses 15 to 17, "Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven." John 9 verses 24 to 25. The Jews who were there gathered around him, saying, "How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly." Jesus answered, "I did tell you, but you did not believe. I and the Father are one." Not just that he was the Son of God, but I and the Father are one. He was one with God. John 20 verses 26 to 29. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Jesus absolutely claimed to be God. He did many miracles in his life. He raised the dead. Even when you think of the story of Lazarus, where he raised Lazarus after he'd been in the tomb. Jesus taught about God's kingdom and continued to teach it as one with total authority who was coming from God. Jesus also died and he rose again, and he appeared for 40 days to over 500 people, more than 500 people over a period of 40 days, many of whom gave their lives because of their testimony of this event. And you need to remember that many people that saw Jesus with their own eyes gave their lives because they saw him resurrect. And you don't give your life for something that you know is untrue. Jesus is God, and the same God of the Old Testament. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Nothing has changed. Jesus was there in the beginning, when we find in the book of Genesis, where God said, "Let us make man in our own image." It's because Jesus was there at the very beginning. Jesus was only crucified because he claimed to be God. If he hadn't claimed to be God, he wouldn't have been crucified. He wouldn't have offended all the Jewish leaders, and he would never have been crucified. You remember the famous things that Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me, except by me." Only through Jesus can you come to God. There's no sitting on the fence. Either Jesus is God, he is who he said he was, or he's an absolute liar. It's no good saying he's a good person, a good man, a good teacher, because clearly he taught that he was God, and that makes him a liar. if he wasn't God? And so then you have that decision, and if you do believe that he is God, then what does that mean to you? Well, if you come to that belief and understanding that Jesus really is God, then that is a life-changing moment. And that means everything for you. That means everything has to change. No longer you're living for yourself, but now you're living for the Son of Man. You're living for the living Jesus Christ, the Messiah who came to redeem the world. I hope this helps and look forward to seeing you next time in Mini Bites. Bye-bye.